How's everybody doing this afternoon? It's about 12:03 Wednesday, May 25th, and I've been out on the road all morning doing my work, and I received a phone call from one of my friends updating me on the news about the shooting that occurred in Texas. And I'm not really a political person, and I just wanted to express my thoughts on this. I'm not going to go into anything about how vengeance justifies equality in life because I believe that's immoral. It's an oxymoron. However, the situation as it unfolds, I'm very inquisitive and I wanted to know what the motive was behind this gentleman's actions. Finding more and more details about his history, where he comes from, the state that he resides in, leads me to believe this was obviously performed illegally, meaning the artillery, weapons, etc. was not legally purchased. All right, so that's neither here or there. That goes without saying, and this isn't the first time that we've heard about this or have experienced a situation like this. It's unfortunate. It's sad when it happens to children, to innocent people, although everyone is innocent. But, kids, they have yet to experience the ups and downs of life, and someone like this individual comes and just takes that away from them. That really upsets me. That really irritates me. And the things that I want to say, I'm not going to because I'm sure YouTube would or will delete or restrict my video. My point to this entire subject, if this is a public school, and I'll explain this in a minute, but if this is a public school, I understand the resources, especially financial funding, is limited. There are ways to protect those, let's just call them residents, within the building, within the confines of the building. When I grew up, I was lucky. I didn't go to private or public schools. I went to private schools. I'm not going to mention the names, but that had nothing to do with me. That was my parents. So I knew nothing about that. I didn't know what the difference was. I do know that there was always security. I do know that when the bell rang, the gates to the outside around the school, around the campus, closed. They were locked and they were monitored by security. If you wanted to leave the classroom, we had a badge. That badge you had to check out, go to, I don't know, the restroom or whatever it is you needed to go. And then you would check into that room so they know that you are there. And then when you leave, you check out and then you check back into the classroom. If that time lapses and it's taking too long, it creates an alert. Now, obviously, not all schools are like that. However, I do believe that instead of putting security on payroll, spend a one-time purchase, get a metal detector, one way in, one way out, just like they do in the airlines. I'm not saying we need to have a TSA agent sitting there or a security guard sitting there checking everybody. Maybe, some of the hospitals around here in Florida. I'm not going to mention names, but I do know for a fact that the executives of the staff are required to switch duties, meaning that for 2 hours, let's say the director of this department will go downstairs and do a meet and greet with the patients that come into the hospital. We're not talking about the ER department, just that come into the hospital through the regular main entrance. And then after 2 hours have passed, for example, then someone else will come down and relieve them of their duties and they'll take over, and so on and so forth. Now, nobody wants to obviously put their lives at risk when, and if somebody does have a weapon and they come in, I understand that. But is it really going to be that expensive just to have a few security metal detector type systems or little areas where they can check who's going in and who's going out, what's in the bag, and then put a fence around the perimeter so when the bell rings, the fence closes. When the bell rings again for lunch, those that have a vehicle are able to leave. And then when lunch is over, they have to come back and then the gate closes. If they're not able to make it back in time, they're late for whatever reason, well, that's something that, the staff can work on. But it's very minimal due diligence versus somebody barging into the campus and opening fire. So, my point to all of this, I think there is a solution. I'm not saying I have a concrete answer, but some brainstorming needs to take effect here because this is getting out of hand, especially with the way things are going right now with the pandemic, with this monkey crap, with the politics, with Russia, with war. The last thing we should have to worry about is the safety of our children. And now, that this is obviously a high priority. It's almost like we're at DEFCON 4. Again, this is just my opinion, and I can rant and rave about this all day long. It's not really going to do any justice. People listen. I appreciate that. Again, it's just an opinion of mine. I'm not saying that I'm right or wrong. These are just my thoughts, and I think it's ridiculous the way things are going. And if we keep heading down this path without doing anything about it and just putting it on the media, not advertising, but making it public on the news, but we're not doing anything. If we keep doing that, then what's the point? I mean, there's no point to it. We're just saying, hey, we messed up, or this happened. It's sad. Everyone's going to cry. Okay, now we move on. I mean, didn't we do that at Columbine? Isn't that what happened? Did anything get better? No. It seems like things are getting worse. Somebody needs to step up and do their job. And at the risk of people losing their lives, we're not at war here in our own free country. We're not supposed to be anyway. But it seems like we are every day. Well, thank you for your ear, and we all will check in later.